self-neglect, how it shows up in your life, and 3 ways to end it. And these are some of the things that I personally had to do. Stay tuned. Knowing you're an asset when the world treats you as a liability. All right, guys, this is Shelly from the Fluffy and Fabulous Movement, wanting to you guys to know that becoming her is going to take some work. And one of the things, in order for us to start doing some work, we have to know, number one, where we are as women that have gone through something in life, that have gone through marriages that did not end the way we thought it was going to end. And it is. I've gone through two of them. And being a mom, being a wife, being the career woman, whatever, being a homemaker where you're dedicating all of your time, life, energy, and resources to caring for children, no matter where you are as a woman, self-neglect can show up in places that you as a woman did not even recognize was there. I have a couple of questions, and I am going to answer some from a personal experience. Number one, when did you stop taking care of you? When did everybody else's concerns become so important that you forgot yourself in the process? What does self-neglect even look like? Because sometimes we don't even know what we're looking at or what it is that we are addressing. You got to define what you're addressing. What does self-neglect really mean? It's literally not small little decisions that sometimes slowly or sometimes swiftly put you on the back burner for everybody else. What does self-neglect look like? You're always figuring it out for everybody else. You're so strong, like you're not human and you don't have weak moments. Oh, I have Johnny's lunch ready. I have the doctor's appointments figured out. I have this figured out at work. Meanwhile, you as a person are slowly burning out. Oh, I set the doctor's appointment for me, Tom, 5 children, the this, the that. Oh, I have everything administratively hands down. But when are you going to take time for you? You're so accustomed to being needed, and I am guilty of this. You're so accustomed to being needed that the person that you're needed by the most, you don't give that time to, which is you. Put that on me. I needed me. And when you get tied up in some of these relationships, you tend to slowly but surely, in every little everyday decision you make, put yourself on the back burner, put your dreams on the back burner until you don't even recognize yourself a year or two down the line. Sometimes it takes longer than that. Sometimes it takes a shorter time. Self-neglect feels like you feeling guilty about prioritizing yourself because everybody else is used to pulling at you and getting what they want. But when are you going to get what you want from you? I'll give you a personal experience. When I was in a relationship, an intimate relationship, not going to specify if it was a marriage or not. We'll get into that down the line. Feeling needed was something that I realized was a part of breaking free from self neglect. And but did you need anything? This and this, and somehow you're getting antsy, or you're well, I'm not going to say you're. I'm going to talk about myself. There are times that the person you're in a relationship with doesn't need you, but because I felt like I needed to be, I wanted to be needed so bad that I opened the door for people that deep down don't mean me any good to take full advantage. It's a hard realization to sit with, but in order for us to work on not neglecting ourselves, we have to be honest with ourselves. I was so, did you want to make sure this? And yeah, people can ask for help, but there's also something that you can say to people. There's this very short word that is a complete sentence that somehow some of us that were suffering or is still suffering from self-neglect don't realize that that's a full sentence. The word and the sentence is no. Yeah. You'll tell everybody you're fine, but you're brewing. You're suppressing anger. Ask me how I know. I used to do it. Be mad at the world, but like I'm fine and I'm brewing underneath. Unfortunately, that was something I literally had to work through because I found that seeing anger, instead of expressing how I'm feeling at that moment, ended up hurting me in the end. Because then when you suppress anger, I suppressed anger so much that when it finally came out, it came out in rage and it came out at the wrong person at the wrong time. I had to learn through prayer, through therapy, and through making a conscious decision not to hold on to anger. If I'm upset with something and the person that I'm upset with, I need to address them, I address them. No. It took some years to get to that. And there are people in my life that were in my life that don't necessarily like the fact that, I magically grew a backbone and I'm telling you exactly how I feel and what's going on with me, and that you've encroached on a boundary or you did something I don't like. You stepped on my toe. That's not really the thing, but whatever it is that they did, I have no problem with telling them now that this is what you did and I don't like it, and I would appreciate it if you stop doing it. Because even doing that sometimes is a way to break away or break the tenets of self-neglect. Trying to minimize that you're not hurt. We have to be honest with ourselves. Yeah, there's a time and a place to put game face on, but there's also a time and place to speak to yourself. It's okay. You are human. You are allowed to be hurt when people do things that hurt you. And you're not soft because you hurt. It's okay to be hurt. It's understandable. Don't let nobody try to convince you, you're too sensitive. Mhm. Are you made out of steel? No, you're not. So don't neglect how you feel. Don't let anybody gaslight you into thinking you're wrong or somehow you're not supposed to. Allow yourself to feel. You are a human being. Feelings kind of come with the package. So if there are people around you in your life that is telling you, oh, you're too sensitive, you're this, you're that, those people, quiet as it's kept, want you to minimize how you feel and eventually who you are. And if you have to minimize who you are, if I have to minimize who I am to be around you, then baby, I don't need to be around you. You don't belong in my circle. You don't belong in my life. You don't belong in my circumference of people that I'm connected to. Because if I have to reduce me for you to be pleased, then you're not the person I need to be around. I don't care if you friend, family, relative, somebody that may show interest in me and somebody that I may be casually dating or God forbid, if I pick up on that early, deuces. Because if I have to decrease or make myself small for you to feel okay with who I am, I'm not for you and you ain't for me. It comes down to that. But it took me years of prayer and working and speaking to who I truly am to get to that. Because there are people that I've had in the past that, oh, you're too sensitive, and oh, you're too this, and oh, you're too that. Then I guess I can do I this because I guess I'm talking to you too long because I'm gonna be me. You don't like it? Exit stage left. Bye. People like that just stop. You know, slowly but surely, I stopped calling them or spending time around people like that. Yeah. Yeah, that's what happens with people like that. That's also self-neglect. Unfortunately, also, this is another subject that we will be definitely diving into more. Self-neglect, unfortunately, eviscerates your attempt to exert your personal boundaries. And ways to counteract this and ways to kick self-neglect to the boot. I had to do this. Mind you guys, these are still some of these things are work in progresses for me. Just like how I'm telling you, you can become her, I'm still becoming her too. But on a daily basis, fools, but he won't keep them. To learn and grow and understand that if I have to look at if there's something that this person has done or have said that I don't like, and I've sat you down and said, listen, I understand this is what is going on, XYZ, but when you said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, I did not like that. I did not appreciate that. And I would appreciate if you have to address a particular situation, please do so respectfully. Addressing an issue with a person, as long as you do it respectfully. I have no problem with telling you. Once upon a time, when I was much younger, you can talk about years ago, somebody would take me off and I'd act like nothing is going on. I used to there's a lot of self-neglect that I've had to shed in my life. I no longer do that. There's reasons there's some people that no longer want to be around me because they thrived in minimizing me. And when I decided that are going to be reinforced, they got real uncomfortable. And yeah, there's some folks that I had to do exit stage left with, because baby, what we not about to do is play with my boundaries. And if you're gonna laugh in my face about the personal boundaries, yeah, we're gonna talk about that situation. I'm not gonna put nobody's names or dates and times out there, but we're gonna talk about that story in detail on one of these episodes. We'll see where the Lord leads. But when I enforce personal boundaries and you start to see people's behavior change, that's it's time to make some changes. It's time to leave people alone. Okay? If you address it and there's still no change in their behavior, then you have to make some choices. This person needs to be out of my life, or I need to reduce my time that I spend around this person, or my relationship with this person is going to change from close to probably surface level. Or better yet, I may just ghost you. Yeah, because guess what? I'm no longer neglecting myself. There are other things that I'm working on behind the scenes, my health um and taking proactive steps in that direction. You guys will hear more about that. But self-neglect is no longer comfortable at my house. Self-neglect is no longer comfortable in my life. Not in the way it was years ago. Because I had to make the same small decisions that can push you into that can push us into self-neglect, are some of the same opposite small decisions that can eradicate it from your life. Self-neglect that damages your self-worth. Self-neglect damaged my self-worth for years coming up. And I had to make the decision that I am fearfully and wonderfully made. And if I'm operating from that premise, my self-worth is worth more than other people's opinions. My self-worth is more valuable than other people's feelings. I'm not going to don't make anybody else's emergencies your own. I'm not going to settle all because you feel some type of way with me being who I am. If you don't like me, it's okay. I'm not made for everybody, and everybody ain't made for me. Same goes for you. Other people's comfort should not matter more, so much more, that you're making decisions to please other people. There's caveats to that, let's be clear, depending on if you're in a work environment. But if you had to sacrifice yourself so much that you can't even recognize yourself, no, darling. It's time to make some decisions. It's time to put some boundaries in place. It's time to make some different decisions. Here are some of the things that will help you to begin or continue to eradicate self-neglect from your life. Walking away from relationships that diminish, demean, and do their best to decrease you or gaslight you. Whatever kind of relationship it may be. It may be with a husband or a boyfriend or a girlfriend, a platonic friend, work relationships, familial relationships, relatives, whoever it may be, roommates. I don't care what title they wear. If the relationship is costing you peace, then it's time to either let it go, address the fact that it's costing you peace, and if there's no change, then it's time to go. If the situation is going to cost you rest that you need, go ahead and decide to rest. As I said, no is a full sentence. Saying no is one of the most powerful things you can do when self neglect would encourage you to say yes to everybody and everything. You can't say yes to everybody and everything. Because if everybody else is pleased with you, then you're suffering because you can't be your full self and have everybody be happy with you because everybody's agenda is different. Learn how to say the full sentence N-O, no. And I say that with my entire chest. Okay? And sometimes none of us are superwoman because self-neglect will have us feeling like, oh, because we have the capability to do it all, that doesn't mean that we should. Because that could lead to burnout. That could lead to more self-neglect when you don't rest when necessary. Rest is important, folks. Running all over the place just because Tom, Dick, Mo, Harry, Curly, and Sue want you in places that really and truly, if you think about it, do you really need to be there? Sometimes saying no is okay. Asking for help when you need it is okay. Changing your mind about a situation is okay. And expressing that should be okay too. Just like how you put other people's events on your calendar, put yourself on your calendar. You're important too. I'm important to me. Just like how I'm important to God, I'm important to me too. And there are times when, oh, we gotta do da 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 da. And there's a certain period of time where once upon a time I used to be like, okay, well, yeah, we can do that. And then there are other times where no, that's my time to rest. That's my time to recharge. And I'm gonna have to say no. We're not encroaching on my rest time. We're not encroaching upon my private time. I love you, but I love me more. Yeah. Becoming her means that you have to make a choice and prioritize yourself. I've had to prioritize myself. Is it challenging at times? Yes. But is it worth it? Absolutely. Because guess who? Ain't nobody gonna know what you need besides God Almighty like you. So guess who has to prioritize themselves? You. You got to prioritize you. Nobody is going to prioritize you like you besides God, besides Yah, besides Yeshua. So guys, self-neglect can sneak up on you in the decision. Sorry about that. In the small decisions you make of giving away your time and making yourself smaller when it's not necessary to do so. We have to start recognizing when we're suppressing anger, when we're this, when we're that. When we're accepting what other people think of us more than what we think about ourselves. Because other people's opinions, I'm going to do my best not to use interesting words. But what I will say is this. Opinions are like rear end holes. Everybody has one. That's the best way I could say it. Because I could be more crass, but I choose not to. Everybody has one. The only way they matter is if you put value on it. Other people's opinion should never take the precedence of what you think about yourself. Do you hear me? Does God love you? Yes. Does Yeshua love you? Yes. So why are you not loving yourself? Does God want us to neglect ourselves? No. And before I end this episode, I'm going to say this. I want you to pray with me. For those of you that have different beliefs about prayer, that's fine. But we love this Yeshua here, and we also love the Word. In Psalms, I think it's chapters 136, 136 and 138. God told all of us that we are fearfully, wonderfully made. There is no other human out there quite like you. So the time we spend on focusing on other people's opinions, let's focus upon the opinions. Let's focus on the opinion, not the opinion. What God actually tells us who we are. We are fearfully and wonderfully made, and we're made for His purpose and His calling. That's more valuable than any other human that was made by Him. Even if you're married to that human. Because sometimes the biggest op you have in your life may be next to you. We're going to talk about that in future episodes. We're just going to say this very short prayer. Heavenly Father, Yeshua, I thank you for fearfully and wonderfully making me in your likeness and in your image. I thank you for cultivating me from the womb, even before you put me in my mother's womb. God, you know the plans and the purpose that you created for me. I may not be where I am. I may not be where you want me to be, but I'm not where I used to be. I thank you for reminding me that you didn't make no junk. Thank you for reminding me that I have a purpose on this planet, and I'm going to carry out that purpose. And I am also not going to neglect who you made while I'm carrying out that purpose. Because just like how you thought I was important enough for you to create me, I need to know that I'm important to myself. So God, I thank you for reminding me in your word in Psalms that I am fearfully and wonderfully made. And I will walk in what your word says I am. I am who you say I am. And I am grateful that you've reminded me that I am created for your purpose and your plan. And I'm created to be the best version of me that you've created me to be. Amen. Guys, remember, your self-worth is not up to anybody else besides you and God. How you walk in this world is decided upon you. The opinions of others is not your business. Love you. You're worth the trouble. Don't neglect yourself. The quality of life you live depends on how much you love yourself. Continue to love yourself. This is Shelley. The Fluffy and Fabulous Movement. Becoming her, healing. Because letting go of self-neglect is a part of your healing. boundaries, and improving your self-worth. Why? Because knowing you're an asset when the world treats you as a liability is the way we move here on the Fluffy and Fabulous podcast. All right, guys, take care. And if you have questions, you want to address, you want to talk about some things, you can always email me at fluffyandfabulous3@gmail.com. And I'll put that in the show notes as well. Guys, take care. You know why? You're worth it. You have a good one. Knowing you're an asset when the world treats you as a liability.